Hey, Charles, how are you this morning, my
All
friend?
right. How's it going?
Doing all right. It's a busy Wednesday, hump day, as the
That's right.
Geico commercial says. That's my favorite commercial from Geico too. The hump day, so easy a camel could do it. So hopefully, Churchill Downs is so easy today. You and I can do it, Charles. That's the plan, right?
Hopefully. Last
Absolutely.
Wednesday, boy, whew, some bombs, huh?
Yeah, some bombs away for sure. So hopefully we can catch some of those. Of course, we'll have our best bets and our long shots and all of our picks for every race today, including our hot dog and prime rib pick fours for Churchill Downs. Before we get to that, last night we had on jockey Casey Foussier. I hope I got that right the second time around. He said I completely screwed it up. Not really. He said I was close, but pretty good show last night with Casey. Make sure you check that out. And then we had on the pair of jockey survivor winners so far. Survivor winner 1 and survivor winner 2, just like the cat in the hat, right?
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Sean's planning on starting up a new one on Monday, so make sure you keep up with us on our social sites. You see him below. It is at Horse Race, the number 2 day. So you can also participate in Sean's jockey challenge, where you pick a jockey every day, and if he wins, you advance. And if you win and you're the winner, Sean's got some great memorabilia and an exclusive Jockey Survivor t-shirt you just cannot get anywhere else on the planet. All right. Speaking of getting stuff you can't get anywhere else on the planet, Charles, today you can get our Churchill Downs picks. The only place you're going to be able to get them, certainly on the planet, is with us. You have to forgive me 1 second here again, Charles. I got to upload the my pace worksheet. It's going to take me about 2 seconds, and we'll be ready to go.
Sounds good.
You said that you weren't feeling you were feeling a little ill. Are you feeling better now?
Yeah, this morning was just weird. I'm just not feeling well. Not tip top shape yet, but I'll be there.
Yes, we'll get it. Our picks will certainly be in top shape today. So let me just pull up. I can't believe this, because I'm adding pieces in. And when you add pieces into what you're doing, it kind of slows things down a little bit. I'm ready to go now. Race 1. Hold on 1 second. I'm almost ready to go. I lie. Race 1 at Churchill Downs. It is I think 6.5 furlongs, claiming $10,000 race for a purse of 22 grand. As we mentioned last time, the track is not, the turf track at Churchill Downs is not ready yet. So every one of these races is on dirt. So far, at the current meet, they haven't really run that many races. Churchill's not been going on for too long, so wouldn't really take too much of the profile of a winner for granted yet. So far, 6 races, half won by speed, half won by closers, only one of which went wire to wire. There has been a major inside 3 bias so far, Charles. And if we look at our pace worksheet for the first race at Churchill Downs, we'll see that we have a scratch with the 6 horse. So I'm going to make that a little bit thicker so people can see it. 6 horse is scratched. We do have a left arrow horse here in a horse, the 4 horse, which usually closes, but if it just runs its normal race outside of the gate, when the gate's open, it will push it forward. There aren't really any early pace horses in here. You got a couple pressure horses. So the 4 might find itself in an unusual spot on the lead, does have the best late pace numbers. And on top of that, it has an advantage over everybody else, a double plus advantage when you combine the early pace and late pace. And I think we both started with the 4 as our first pick in race number 1. Tell me why you made it your top pick.
Well, I think you just pretty much covered everything on that one.
All right, let's go to race 2 then. No,
yeah, I mean, the 4 has, tactical speed. I mean, he's gone to the front before. He's come from behind. He could sit right off the lead. He could do anything he wants. The only negative is he's been off for 48 days, but that's okay. The trainer does pretty well, 18% coming off those type of layoffs. So I think he's the pick in the race. But my second pick is the 5. And this horse moves up in class, but he is looking for the hat trick, and so you can't blame him from there on that one. Has decent speed. He might be the speed of the race. Don't know. To me, he has a jock switch that I think is a plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to be right there at the pace also. Then my third pick is the 1.
The one horse, El Uno, the
Yeah,
rail.
yeah, the rail. Another one that has tactical speed, can go to the front if it wants to, could sit off again if it wants to. Uh, the trainer is 33% when he goes from a claiming repeat from a win to another claiming race, which is a decent stat. So he's basically at the same level, moves down just a slightly a notch, but not by much. Fits well with these horses in this race.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final pick is the three. Uh, this one, it looks like it could be one of the closers in the race. Has in the past, way back when, did show some speed, but John Court is on this horse. Has rode him a couple of times. I think he's gotten to know this horse a little bit. He is jumping up in class a little bit, but they claimed this horse back 3 races back for 30,000. So
Mm-hmm.
they're doing some trying to pick up some money here.
For me, I like Violent Gigi, the full horse, as my top pick as well. As we showed on the pace worksheet, it is a left arrow horse, does have the top early pace numbers, so a chance to be on the lead, and also has the top late pace numbers. You can't pass what you can't catch. And the horse, in terms of its performance, is very consistent, so you're going to have to beat it. Number 7, Beverly's Charge has the best Churchill Downs numbers, my second choice. Second off the claim for trainer Donald Habib, who has won 5 of 13 times when he's trotted out a horse the second time after buying it off the claim. Number 1, West Warpath rides the high win rate rail. Trainer Jeff Hiles won the last race, and he goes back-to-back W's at a healthy 26%. Finally, number 5, Heavenly Trip, did run the top last race speed figure. I think it's shipping in from Belterra. I know a lot of folks will hop on that. Could be one of the favorites. But trainer Mark Cordenbrock shipped in 29 horses to different tracks so far, and he has as many wins at Churchill Downs as you and I do today, 0. So it's not the best so far at picking his spots for his horses at which tracks to go to. Race number 2, Charles is 6 furlongs. This one's a maiden for $92,000. Too many first-time starters here for me to have a pace worksheet on this race. So far, it's 6 furlongs. There's only been a quartet of races, much like 6.5 furlongs. They've been split evenly. 2 speed horses, 2 off-the-pace types. One of the 4 went wire to wire. So far, you've had 2 winners from the rail, 1 winner from post 2 and 3, and 1 from 4 through 7. Again, not enough data to really make much of this. How do you see this race of inexperienced horses playing out?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a pretty much inexperienced, but there's a couple horses that have ran,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it leads me to the number 10. Has ran 3 times, just out of the money just once and barely missed that. Was claimed last time out for the hefty 62.5. But they left the horse there to train, and then they bring it out here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you got Michael Maker, Tyler aboard, which is a great duo. So I think that horse is going to be right there when the time comes. The 12 horse is my second pick. Showed some least decent speed, hung up there with the leader. Steve trains this horse. Santana rides. They're no strangers to each other. So that's always a combo that you would always want to look at when they ride. He rides Santana. Number 5 is my third pick. Joe Sharp trains this horse. He doesn't get many first time winners, but he always sends them out so fit. It's hard to believe that he doesn't get a higher percentage, believe it or not. So he's got a solid work tab, good jock. Everything looks good on that horse to me. And then
Mm-hmm.
my final pick is the 2. Has had 3 races also in this race. Never hit the board yet, but a couple times he was knocking. Drops in class today, a little bit, of course. Figures to be right there and adds the blinkers today, which
Mm-hmm.
that should add a little bit more speed to him. So those are my picks.
Those are your 4 for race number 2. My 4 include number 8, Plenty of Time, as my top choice. Good works for trainer Thomas Drury Jr., who does win at a pretty good rate, 22% when debuting at the maiden special weight ranks. Number 3, must be the money. Yes, must be the money. That's why we play, baby. A lot of fast works getting ready for this spot. He wanted to maybe even rank him a little bit higher, but trainer Paul McGee run out 27 first-time starters this year. And again, he's got a goose egg in that win column. So hopefully that O will go today for Mr. McGee. Number 10, Cortez, maybe, I don't know. Of the experienced horses, this does look like the best one to me. Does have some pretty good workouts getting ready after a short time in the barn here. And then finally, number 2, your final choice as well. In spite of the trainer, they had to left out but in spite of trainer, had a bullet 4 furlong workout on September 15th, was the fastest of 19. So it tells me that this guy is ready to return to the track and do so in a way where he maybe shows a little bit of pace and gets towards the front and maybe can try to take these guys wire to wire. Want to say thank you to Fred Barracamonte. I hope I got that. I know I screwed that up, Fred. I know I pronounced the first name right. Thanks for the thumbs up on Facebook. We appreciate that. If you have any comments, hit us up in the comment section. If you like what you see like Fred, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. Also, subscribe while you're here on YouTube. We just got over 2,000. The next goal is 5,000. So if you haven't done so, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. We greatly, greatly appreciate all of the support and you coming to spend time with us. Race 3 is another 6 furlong race. Again, split evenly between horses that get to the front, horses that like to come off the pace. The data is really not that important right now from the post position biases, just not enough to make do of it. Race number 3, our pace worksheet kind of goes like this. Again, we see a left arrow horse. And for those of you that are new and don't quite understand, what this kind of looks like mumbo jumbo, like something you'd see written on inside of the walls in the pyramids somewhere in Egypt. So the E horses are horses that when they run and they've won or come close to winning, they were on the lead. The EP are horses that can be on the lead or sit right off the lead. Pressure horses usually don't get to the lead, but they chase the leaders around the track and then are able to run by late. The pressure closer types are the ones that if it goes too slow, they move forward. If it goes too fast, they ride patiently. Of course, to see the closers, the horses that have only won from way off the pace. And in this race, we see a couple of interesting things here. The 7 horse is a EP horse who can be on the lead, but additionally, he has a plus late pace advantage, meaning he's got a 5-point advantage, according to the way I calculate late pace, over the next closest horse that has a little bit of late legs. The 4 horse being a left arrow horse, one that likes to pressure, but his early pace numbers are going to say this guy might be on the lead today. So there's a lot going on in this race. Charles, I think it's one that there's some opportunity to cash here. What do you see as your top pick in here?
Well, definitely opportunity in this race. There's some, like you said, there's some early speed there. So, and plenty of horses that could sit on the pace. Well, one of them, I believe, is the 2 horse that could take advantage of if it's a little pace up there.
Mm-hmm.
The horse last time out ran on turf a mile and now cuts back. I believe it's the right distance for this horse. I think he's better on dirt. I think he'll improve with the distance. I like the jockey switch. I like everything about him. I think he could close well enough to pick up the pieces there at the end. The 3 horse is my second pick in this race. Another one that is coming back off of a turf race, drops into this race and on the dirt, likes the distance, should like the distance, runs very well at 7 furlongs. So closes very well, sits right on the pace. Another one that looks like he's ready to pounce on them. And then I have to admit, the 7 I think is going to go to the lead. Will he hang on for a piece of the pie? I believe he might. But the last time out was funny enough. He came from off the pace just slightly, but he does have the speed in the race, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final pick is the 5 horse. Won his last race. Stays in the same level basically. does well on dirt, and I like the jock switch on this one also for the final pick. And the workouts, before that last race was very solid, and then he showed it by winning.
All right. So for me in race number 3, this is my box it up. That's where we take 4 horses, we put them together in a $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. I had a really nice trifecta in mine yesterday over at Hollywood, not Hollywood, Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Around here, there's the Hollywood. It's the casino right in Indiana. So I just kind of screwed it up a little bit there. So for me in race number 3, for my box it up, I'm going to start off with number 3, Nana's Gray. Won her last 2 at Churchill Downs and 2 of 3 overall. You put that horse on any other track 7 times, has 1 win and a third. So they define that in my book as a horse for the course. Number 4, Smile at the Storm, did run the top last race speed figure. Some really good works getting ready for the first race since April the 28th. Number 1, that is Blossom Road, another horse for the course. Churchill Downs 3 times out, 2 wins and a second. Put that horse on any other track 12 times, 12 times, and only managed to score a third. So I got some nice workouts again here at Churchill Downs. It says she'll run another good race. And we had Mike Smith on a couple of years ago before the Kentucky Derby, and he said Churchill's a quirky track, and you pay special attention to how horses train and run there, because how they train and how they run there is how they tend to run there. And horses that might not perform well at other tracks that show well at Churchill tend to run well at Churchill. And then finally, it was a tough call for me between the 2 horse and the 7 horse, but I went with the 2 horse Fabricate. It's probably going to be the favorite. Thus has some of the strongest Churchill Downs numbers, but trainer Juan Cano ran Fabricate on the turf last time out. He's only won 2 of 38 races on that surface switch, so not the best angle for Mr. Cano at all. But again, probably going to be a favorite. Really tough call over that 7 horse that has some of the best late pace numbers, and as you mentioned, could be forwardly placed. Next race on our schedule is race number 4. We're trying to move through quickly because I know the races are about to get started here at Churchill. Race number 4 is 1 mile and a 16th. It's a claiming race for $10,000. Race 4, so far at 1 mile and a 16th. I got a few of these in a row too, so pay attention to race 4. Might give you some clues to what might happen in race number 5. Mile and a 16th, just a couple of races so far. Both of them were won from off the pace. Both of them were won from posts 4 through 7. And our pace worksheet for race number 4, we find that the 1A got scratched, which was kind of interesting to me because the 1A and the one's going to show some speed, probably going to be your pace setter in here. And the 1A was a closer. So I felt like that was a tandem that the trainer put in together for one to help the other, but it ain't the case today. The 4 and the 9 are some of your left arrow horses, usually pressure closer type. So I expect, with not a whole lot of early pace, these 2 guys to move more forward than they might look in the past performances. And you'll find that the 5 horse does have the most late pace in the race. So if he's close at the end, has a really good chance to run by him. Race number 4, share your thoughts on that one with us, Charles.
Yeah, it was an interesting race here. The 3 horses ended up being my number 1 pick. The horse has been claimed last couple of times out, and has actually been claimed this whole year, like 3 or 4 times. But anyway, hot in the claim box, but always comes back to the same level. Likes the distance. Everything looks right on this horse. So I think he's a good enough closer to pick up the pieces at the end of this race. My second pick is the 6 horse. Uh, he has a little bit more tactical speed, I believe. He could sit a little closer. Last time out was on a muddy track, so who knows what that really relates to today. But runs really close, knocking on the door, ready to score something here. Then, like you said, the 5 is my third pick. Definitely a closer, always closes. Definitely does well at this race distance. Drops in class today. Might be the key to the whole thing, is the drop in class.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Talamo jumps back on him again. which is another plus for me. And then, like you said, the one is my final pick. He's going to be probably the speed of the race, or definitely one of them, and should hang around for a little bit, piece of the pie, I think.
All right. In race four, looking at my selections, number three, Moliere, I guess, I don't know how you pronounce that, is making the classic third start after a layoff. If you look at the previous three race cycles, you find that last time out, the third off the layoff was the best of the three, and it was a win at Churchill Downs. So the trainer's looking to repeat that cycle. Horses fared well at the distance, 3 wins and a couple of thirds in 7 tries. Number one, Altered. This one should, as you mentioned, it's a speed horse that should compete for the lead. And I mentioned up that when I first looked at it, I was like, good, you got a closer and you got a speed horse as a part of the entry. But then I remembered when they scratched one, our Terry Hollywood Hay, many times, just snapped into my brain, said he loves that angle. When the trainer has 2 horses in and he scratches one, he said, because it's been his experience that the one he leaves behind is the one he thinks has the best chance to win. And it's paid off a lot for Terry, I can tell you. Number 5, Rye Humor, is the horse with the most late legs in this field, is dropping in class. And I think this one is one that's likely to take a step forward in its second start off the layoff. And then finally, number 4, Through the Vine. Through the Vine is a left arrow horse, as we saw on the pace worksheet. The last 2 workouts, if you look at them relative to the other workouts previously, you'll see that there is a nice, at least a very noticeable performance improvement. Those workouts are getting a little bit faster. So that is an indication to me the 4-horse Through the Vine is one that's likely to show more today than it has in the past. I think you're going to get a peak effort out of that horse today. Race number 5 is another one at a mile and a 16th, claiming for $40,000. Again, just a couple of races at a mile and a 16th so far. Both went off the pace, both coming in from from posts 4 through 7. If we take a look at our pace worksheet for race number 5, I accidentally scratched a 7 in here. I actually sent Charles a very terse text, hey, check your scratches. But it was me that screwed up. So the 7 is not scratched. It's the 5 and the 6 that are out. So if you take a kind of look at the race shape here, you have a lot of horses that are kind of towards the front, just a couple that are in the back. If these folks really step up the pace, it could cause some trouble for each other. The 7 horse is one that's a left arrow horse. Again, EP, not really a left arrow because he can't get to the front, can't sit off the pace, and does have a plus early pace advantage, meaning the way I calculate early pace has a 5-point advantage over the next horse. So likely to be about a length, maybe 3/4 of a length on the lead at the quarter-mile marker. And then on the back end, the 3-horse, if they run really too fast, has a plus late pace advantage. Again, 5 points more than the next closest horse, the way I calculate it. If these guys go too fast, at the end of the race, he's just going to go, see you, folks. I'll see you at the winner's circle. How do you see this race playing out, Charles?
Yeah, at first I was having a hard time between the 1 and the 7.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up with the 7 for just a couple of reasons. I love the way when you run a horse in sprints and they sit right off the pace
Mm-hmm.
and then they win the race and they are a speed horse and now you're stretching them out to a mile and 16th or further. I love that. I love that move personally. And Doug O'Neill from the West Coast knows how to do that as one of the best in the game for that. He's a 20% trainer when it comes to claiming. So I personally believe if the early pace doesn't quite go the way it should, I think he's going to take over after the quarter pole, the
Mm-hmm.
first quarter, I should say. Um, he's my number one pick. Then that leaves me with my number one. The number one horse is my second pick, which is another speed horse, but is used to taking his speed the distance like this. So it just depends who gets the best break, in my opinion, who's going to
Mm-hmm.
take the lead. And then the 3-horse is my third pick. Another one that can sit tactical speed, can sit right off the pace. Uh, the trainer's 21% on claiming. And it gets a weight allowance there, which, as you well know, could cost you a little money at a photo.
Oh,
And
yes. It
then,
cost me yesterday.
yeah, it
Exactly
can.
yesterday. Yes, it did.
Yes, it can. And
Mhm.
then my final pick is the two horse. Horse is just always a hard knocker, always right there, kind of late. Going a mile and the eighth, always sitting there, can't close. So I think he's definitely one of them that could pick up some pieces, especially if they all start faltering at the end.
Mhm. So I had the 5 in there. You saw me changing a couple things around. The 5 horse was my last pick in there, but again, I screwed up accidentally scratching the 7 instead of the 5. So I put the 4 in there. I know I mentioned a lot about the 3. It was a tough call for that last spot between the 4 and the 3 for me, but I'll get into why I took the 4 over the 3. Big Bad Diva, you had a tough time between the 1 and the 7. I just went the other way around. I went with Big Bad Diva. Did run a big race last out. Ran well. The last 2 times the horse ran off the bench on dirt, winning both of them and on a fast track. And I think we're going to get that today down there at Churchill Downs. 6 races, 4 wins, and a second and a third. So really, Big Bad Diva is a big friend of a fast track. Looking at it right now, yes, the dirt is listed as fast. My next selection in race number 5, right? That's where we are, race 5. Yep.
Yeah.
I have She's a Dime. As I mentioned, the 7 horse does have a plus early pace edge over the rest of the field. And when you combine it with the late pace figures, the horse that puts together the best early pace and late pace. So I think it's a real tough race between the 1 and the 7. The 2 horse Family Time does drop in class. Again, another one of those horses that you have to beat because it's a really consistent performer. It's going to put out a good effort. And if you're not at your best, you're not going to beat Family Time. Number 4 does get a call over to 3. It was a really difficult decision for me, but I'm going to go with the horse that does have some Churchill Downs experience. Again, Mike Smith had said to me and the Players Edge crew about making sure that the horse runs well at Churchill Downs. I would have wanted to put the 3 in there if it had some Churchill Downs workouts, but it didn't. So I have really nothing to really base that on. All right, so that wraps up the 1, 2, 3 first 5 races. Race number 5 is the end of the early pick 4, and I think that one turned out to be our wrong one. Prime rib pick 4s today. In race number 2, 3, 4, and 5, we both structured our tickets exactly the same in terms of 4, 4, 4, and 3. Just a little bit different in the races that we've done. I went 4 in the first leg, 3 in the second leg. I feel like race number 3 is the one where I'm most likely to catch the winner of my top 3 picks. You made race 5 that race. Any particular? And I can see that with the 1 and the 7 being probably the top 2 horses. Is that the reason why you put 3 in race 5?
Yeah, because I, like I said, originally I could not make up my mind until I started figuring out an angle for the 7. But yeah, and the 3 is a little bit different price. It has a shot, but yeah, that's the reason.
All right, good. So hopefully we come through today. I don't. The last couple of days, man, I'm telling you, I've lost photos to cash some really nice tickets, and I'm due to win a lot of photos, folks. So hopefully, I'm catching the horse with the 5-pound weight break, or the one that gets a clean trip and doesn't have to snake around 3 different horses to get to the finish line. All right, so race number 6 is the next race on the card. Again, 6 furlongs. This one's a maiden for $120,000. There are a lot of first-time starters in here. So my philosophy in, I think mostly first-time starters, but there's a couple in here that have some experience. The way I look at first races where there is a mix of first-time starters and experienced horses, I put all the experienced horses in one bucket and then put all of the first-time starters in another bucket. If I look at the experienced horses and I can't really find 1 or 2 or 3 that really look like standouts, then I'm going to go fishing in the first-time starters bucket. That's what I did, Charles. What did you do?
Well, I kind of did the opposite. I like the first time starters more than the
Well,
the
I
ones
did go
I've
with the
ran.
first-time starters.
I mean, they all. I mean, this to me is probably the toughest race overall to me.
Mhm.
I have the 7 as my first pick. Solid workouts, solid breeding, great trainer, jockey combo. I mean, there's a lot of greatness about this horse. So can he run to all that greatness is the question, I guess.
Mhm.
The number 8 is my second pick in this race. I picked him second because the workouts are very, to me, very consistent. The trainer does very well with 2 year olds. Okay, and then the jockey, back when he was running on the West Coast, was well known for riding speed horses. So I give him a little bit of an edge on that.
Hmm.
My third pick is the 5. Another one here that's actually he has had one race, which was pretty good race, if you ask me. Ran a third, but it was a little bit behind the first and second place horses. Out of Run Happy, should have some speed, but he's going to get the blinkers today. So I think you're going to see an improvement on that horse overall. So that's a horse to be scared of. And then the 4 horse is my final pick, another first time starter. Uh, the trainer, I like the trainer a lot, although he does not have a high percentage with first time starters. But once again, he sends them out super fit. He's definitely bred for this type of distance too. So
And
he's my
that's why
fourth
you
pick.
made this your box it up race, because there's anything can happen race.
Yeah, and a lot of my picks are at least 10 to 1 or higher.
All right, so
Um,
hopefully they come
so
home. Yeah, it'll pay for the day. Indeed, if it does, right?
that's right.
And that's what we're looking for. So, in my case, in race number 6, I'm looking at, again, all the buckets I talk about. I went straight first time starters all across the board here. I went with number 3, Golden Fate. I look at the trainer angle and the workouts. Those are the two things that I really paid attention to here. Thomas Amos is a really good trainer. Won 18% of the time when he debuts at maiden special weight. Number 7, King Dioro, the King of Gold. This is trained by Todd Pletcher, who wins at 19%, the first time starters. And this horse costs $230,000. Again, really good workouts. Number 2, Single Dot Yacht, is a Thomas Drury trained baby, and he wins at 22% when made in special weight on the debut. And again, some of the better workouts in here. Then finally, number 12 is my final choice. That is Sweet Street Swag. Yeah, and honestly, I was thinking about putting the 11 in here because they're both about the same to me. Usually I go with the horse with higher odds, but I took the better trainer in the spot. Both the 11 and the 12 have an angle that, if you read Barry Meadows' book, The Skeptical Handicapper, when he runs down thousands and thousands and thousands of data points, one of the alpha angles, which is what I termed it, an alpha angle that wins at more than 12%, is horses that are making their first time start, and the workout right before they go to the track is a bullet workout. So for the 12 and the 11, they have what I have deemed bullet and go. So look out for that 11, maybe at a price. That could be one that's kind of scary. Race number 7. This is an interesting race because this is my long shot, and this is your best bet. So it's the battle of Charles and Rich, long shot versus best bets on a 6.5 furlong, $20,000 allowance race. Again, only a couple of races at 6.5 furlongs. So you're really the profile of winner. There's been 6 of them. 3 won by speed horses, 3 won by horses that come from off the pace, one of which took them from gate to wire. We do find that major inside 3 bias so far. So neither one of us have the 1, the 2. I have the 3 in my pick. So we're completely playing against the bias. But I don't think after just 6 races it really matters. Why is your 6 horse going to beat my 8 horse?
Because I believe he's the best horse in the race. No, actually, your horse, I did pick in my top 3, so yeah, I believe he has a shot. But the 6 horse is my top pick overall. Actually, I was debating between the 6 horse in this race and the 4 horse in the next race as my top pick overall. But I went with this one as my top pick overall. It looks like this horse could do whatever he wants. He could sit off the pace, come from behind. He could take the lead when anytime he really wants. So that's kind of dangerous to me when you're any other horse in this race, when you got a horse in a race that could do anything that it wants.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 horse is my second pick in this race. Um, Another one that he has a lot of speed overall. I think he'll hang on for a piece of the pie here. Solid works. Joe Sharp, like I said before, always sends him out fit. Tyler rides this horse. So that's a good combo there. And then the 8 horse is my third pick. Closer, could close, could sit off the pace, can do pretty much what he wants to do. But I believe that the 6 horse is a little bit better at that game than he is. And then my final pick is the 5. And on this one, he's a closer overall. He returns to dirt after running a couple of turf races, which he did very well at, very well. So I think they got a horse that they could do whatever they want with. So he's definitely a horse to reckon with when it comes to any race he wants to run in.
Mhm.
So those are my 4 picks.
I forgot to put this up for race 8. So we did get a scratch here in race. We're in race number 7. Sorry, did get a
Yeah.
scratch here with the 7 horse, the 2 horse as well. The 3 horse is a, and again here you see, I think the 7 scratching out might change it a little bit because you see that there's not a whole lot of early pace in this race right in here, right? But the 9 and the 6 do look to me like the horses that are likely to be forwardly placed, which could put the 1 horse in a little bit of a struggle spot psychologically. The 3 horse in here is a left arrow horse, is a pressure closer type. So if these guys go too slow up front, the 3 will probably make sure they keep it honest. And then if we look at the 8 horse, this one does have the top late pace as well as the second best combination between early speed and late speed. So another one I think will perform fairly well. That's why the 8 horse is my long shot in here. In race number 7. Sorry, I got to have this in the right spot. Race 7. I like the 8 horse. And that horse is Alexandros. Is a first time starting since January. Has a bunch of good works getting ready. And then you look at the last 3 times that the horse Alexandros spent some time in the barn, came back to win all 3 of his last first time starts off the bench, 2 of which were at Churchill Downs. So I think he's like 10-1 morning line. If he repeats that kind of cycle, it's a good angle, I think. Your first pick, your best bet's my second choice. Beverly Park is a horse for the distance, unquestionably. He's run 7 times. He's won 6 of them, came in second in the other. Kind of hard to argue with that. At Churchill Downs, 4 times, 2 wins, and a second. I mean, the horse's record at the distance and the track is impeccable, almost perfect at the distance. Number 3, Flamingo Hawk, as I showed on the pace worksheet, is a left arrow horse. Coming off the top, last race speed figure, running at a distance where it's undefeated in 2 races, but doesn't get any higher up in my rankings because at Churchill Downs 4 times, just managing to post a 3rd in there. And then finally, number 9, Wild Behavior, describing my teenage years for sure. This one is a tough call over the 10, but the 10 horse is more of a closer. The 9 horse is a little bit more speed. I know Churchill to be more of a speed track than a closer's track, so I'm going to take the horse that's going to be closer to the front than the one that's closer to the back. Race 8 is my best bet. It's one that you said you were considering making your best bet. 6 furlongs optional claiming for $125,000. Profile of a 6 furlong winner so far. 4 races, couple of them won off the pace, couple of them won from towards the front, one of which being wire to wire. You've had a win from the rail, 2 winners from the rail, 1 from post 2 and 3, 1 through 4 and 7. So it looks like there might be a little tiny inside bias here. Let's take a quick look at the brace shape. Again, here you have horses that have scratched out. The 5 horse probably being one that might have factored. The 4 and the 6 horse now typically pressure horses, likely to move forward, especially the 4. The 1 horse is yet another that's a pressure closer type. Probably going to be another one that moves closer to the front because the 2 and the 3 aren't really the type that are going to get to the lead. So this is a pretty interesting race. You got the 8 horse here with the top late pace figures, the 7. So I think every horse in this race is going to get a trip that it's comfortable with. Now, you said you were thinking about making the 4 your best bet here. Why were you thinking about making the 4 your best bet?
Because I thought that he was going to go to lead for sure. I really
Mm-hmm.
think he is. I think he's going to just take the lead and not look back. Blinkers on, definitely has the speed for it. He can handle the distance with no problem. The workouts are great. I mean, it's screaming right now. He has back class that's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It has
I think he
ran
was
well at.
actually on the Kentucky Derby Trail, right?
Yes, he was.
Mhm.
Ran well here. He won here actually at Churchill Downs back in 2021. So I mean, I just thought he was the best horse in the race, even though this race has a lot of talented horses.
It does.
That's it does. It really does. And the 8 horse is my second pick. Uh, Another one. This one kind of could sit off the pace and come from behind. Have some back class. Another one that has a back class. Trainer jockey duo is another great. Stuart Dallas is a good trainer. Tyler's riding for him. Solid workout. So he's another one that could ring the bell if he wants to. And then the 3 is my third pick. A little bit of a price horse here, but a little back class again. Trainer gets these horses ready. Looks like the distance perfect for him to sit right on the pace and pick up any piece he needs to pick up. And then the 7 horse is my final pick in this race. Uh, he's improving when he's on dirt. When he was on turf the last 2 times, he didn't run very well. And he's another one that comes from back class again, drops in class, has decent speed, tactical speed at least for this group, can hang with this group. So yeah, overall it's a really solid race, but I think it all set up for just the 4 horse to take the lead and kind of not look back.
All right. So good timing there because they're about to run in the first race at Churchill Downs. Kind of hard to see the beginning because it's all behind a fence now. And let's see. And then they come from outside the fence finally in that first race. So we do have the 4 horse trailing right behind the 1 horse. So the 1 horse took the lead on the rail. That is making moves, well, no, that's the wrong race. That's race number 2. That is West Warpath is on the lead, followed by number 4. That is the Violent Gigi, probably not the best date in the world for sure. The 5 horses are running in third, 3 wide as they come down the backstretch towards the first turn. And around the turn they begin. The 4 horse is kind of making its move, putting his nose to nose. But the 1 horse says, not so fast there, big guy. I'm going to make a little bit of an advancement. So you got it 1, 4, 5, and 7 as they come out of the turn. And it looks like it's probably going to be those 4. The winner is going to come from that group. The 1 is hugging the rail, took the turn kind of tight. So he's got a pretty shot, but it looks like he's starting to slow down a little bit. The 4 is advancing, but it looks to me like it might be the 5 on the outside that's going to run by all of them. Well, the 1 is hanging tough on the rail. It's getting kind of crowded in there. So the 7 is trying to duck down to the rail. So the 4 is not going to win. It's going to be the 1 or the 7. It looks like the 7 at the line. 7, 1, 5, and 4, I think. Yep. So 7, 1, 5, and 4. So I ended up with the superfecta there. My second choice beating the first choice. Nice little close there for the 7 horse that went off at 41 morning line, ended up at 5-2. So I don't know how that was for a race call. Do you think I have a future in being the race caller?
I think you have a solid future.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right. Race number 8 for me. Kavad is my best bet of the day. It is a left arrow horse, tied for the top last race speed figure. When I look at the internals, the 2 furlong, 4 furlong, and late pace numbers, last time out, every single one of them improved from the prior start. And I think that you'll see this horse improve in its second start after a layoff. Hoist the Gold, the 8 horse is my second choice, does have the top late pace numbers in the field, will be coming at the end. And also the number 1 rated horse when you combine early pace and late pace. The 6 horse, Burning Hunk of Love. A little bit of Elvis, right? Should get a comfortable trip here. Decent workout since that last race on July 3rd. Ran at the distance a couple of times. Know he can handle it very well because he's got a win and a second in those 2 races. So it's probably its favorite distance. And then I know the 7 Tejano Twist was a heavy favorite or one of the favorites in there. I went with number 1, Overtaxed, over Tejano Twist. It was a hard call for me, but Tejano Twist at Churchill Downs, again, going back to Mike Smith there. It's run at Churchill Downs 6 times, only won once, ran off the board in the other 5. I'm going to take something that, that's 87%. I'm going to bet against that 87% every single time. So I'm going to take the hot rail with number 1 overtaxed and see if we can get a little bit of a price there in race number 8, which is my best bet. Charles, you know what else is a pretty good best bet? Picks with the Professor. Are you familiar with him?
Oh, yeah.
So Mr. Professor so far, he's got his parlay of the day. There is a link down below for Picks with the Professor. You can also see his full YouTube show where he covers every baseball play. And they also do college football, which he's done exceptionally well at so far. On the parlay of the day, 8 times out, 4 wins, 8 wins, 4 losses, has a plus 475 ROI units. But it looks, hold on, let me see. This was a little earlier in the day. There we go. So he's 8-5 because I know he lost last night. 3.75 unit profit for a 28% return on investment. Tonight's play is the Red Sox giving up a 1.5 and over 6.5 runs in that game. It's plus 120 on DraftKings. Again, you can see the full breakdown of every Major League game over at, there's a description and a link to the YouTube show. Make sure while you're there that you're loud, you're obnoxious, you let them know that Horse Racing Today sent you. Final
Parlay
race. Yes, parlay, baby. You know, on Fridays, Sean and I, along with Jared, we do a football show for the NFL too. We put that up Friday night, so it's all there Friday, all day Saturday, early Sunday morning. A lot of data analysis on my part. 5-0 last week. I think all 3 of us are profitable through the first 2 weeks of the year. So to be profitable in the NFL is at times a very tough task. A lot of people struggle with that. All right. The final race on the Churchill card, 6 furlongs, maiden claiming $10,000. So, you know, this is kind of what you would call a bottom of the barrel race. And horses looking for their first win in race number 9. Again, a race that has a lot of scratches that could impact. You see, there are arrows in here. And again, for those of you who are following us for the first time, on maiden races, I like to make the designation if the horse is moving up or down in class or running at the same class, because I find that class droppers in the maiden ranks they might look crappy on paper, but they make that drop. There's a spark because they're facing against lesser competition. The 9 horse here in a race that does have some early speed, only 3 horses, looks to me like the speed of the speed. So you're going to get maybe a little bit of jump on the 10 and the 12, but better make that turn pretty quick. Then you have over here a bunch of horses that are dropping in class as well. The 6 horse having some of the best late pace. The 11 horse, which did have the best late pace, which I had in my picks, not in there. I was going to give the 13 a try as well as a first-time starter. I also like the fact that this also eligible. The 14 got in. You like the fact that the 14 got in so much, Charles. You made it your top pick and a long shot of the day.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that it would get in, and it did. Because this race kind of sets it up for this type of horse. Closes, you got cheap speed. They don't know how to win yet, so that's another plus for this horse. He's only ran, 3 times, and solid works. I like the class drop on this. The jockey's really good with speed horses. He rode for me a couple of times back in California, and he won for me a couple of times actually too. And like you said, the 10 horse is my second pick. Has the speed, but kind of always stops, and that's a concern for me. But you never know when they're going to wake up, and now he's got the weight allowance, so who knows? That might be the part that wakes him up. The 9 horse is another one with speed. Santana sticks with the horse, so that's a plus for this horse. Drops in class a little bit, so that might be enough to help it, hang on for a piece of the pie. And then my final pick in this race is the 6, T Money. Would that be like Trent Money? That's my last
T
name,
Money. I don't know.
Money.
Somebody's got their first name, so it would be Trent Money. Yeah, that's you, Charles Trent. CT Money would be.
CT Money. So yeah, another one that could sit right off the pace and pick it up at the end with some of the pieces. So that's why I was really waiting for the scratches to kind of hope for the 14 to get in, because I thought he had the best chance of doing damage in this race.
Absolutely. I like the 9 horse. Offit Cole, top last race speed figure, is dropping multiple classes. Trainer Jason Barkley, when he drops horses more than a class or 2, wins at a nice 19%. So I love when I see in the past performances, top last race speed figure and moving down in class. That's been an angle that's made a lot of money for me. Number 14, Awesome Charge. Your top pick and long shot there. This is a lightly raced horse, which I like in these maiden claiming type races. Is another one that's dropping multiple classes for friend of the show, trainer Robertino Diodoro. And man, Robertino, when he moves his horses around, I expect this one to be forwardly placed. Does have a 26% angle when Robertino moves the horses down more than one class. T-Money, Charles Trent Money, gets a significant weight break here. An extremely consistent performer. Run out the distance 4 times. It's kind of hard considering how well this horse has been, how consistent it's been. Hasn't found the winner circles yet, but at the distance 4 times out, 2 seconds and a third. So been knocking on that door, in the words of Bob Dylan, or like Denzel Washington says, it's been in the barbershop yet, just hasn't gotten a haircut. Maybe today's the day it gets into the barber's chair. And then it was a really tough call between the 10 and the 12 for me for this 4th spot to close out the show. The 10 horse is one of the biggest class droppers in the field, maybe because it's shipping in. But trainer Thomas Amos has won 19 of 54 races. I think by 35%, some big number when dropping multiple classes. If it's not the 10, the 12 horse Rico did show much better early pace numbers at 2 and 4 furlongs last time out, which is almost always an indication of a horse that's on the rise. Again, here is all look at all of our picks. The first race is in at Churchill Downs. The final order in race number 1 looks to me like it was 7. Hold on, it's not showing race number 1 for me. There it goes. It went 7, 1, 5, and 4. The $1 exacta paid $36.42. The 50-cent trifecta, $38.72. And the superfecta paid $13.25. It's not a bad start to the day, Charles, right?
Not bad at all.
You could see Charles and I have a battle of the best bets and long shots in race number 7. Charles, my best bet is in race number 8. Charles's best bet is in race number 9. Race number 9 also closes out the late pick 4, which is our hot dog pick 4. And Charles, I had to really adjust the way I do things to fit all of those numbers in for you in that first leg.
Yeah, because I had to leave a couple out. Sorry about that. I was wanting to hit the all button, but couldn't quite do it.
All right. And then you singled the 6, but you said you were thinking about making the 4 a best bet. So I was kind of surprised you didn't go all 6, 4, and then 14 and 10. But, $20 for Charles, $20 for me. I'm going to single the 4 in my best bet in race number 8. Hope it comes through for me. Try to catch some prices in that 6th race with all those first-time starters. Back it up with another price in race number 7. Then I think the 9 and the 14 are your best 2 at the end of the show there. That is our hot dog pick 4. Our prime rib pick 4 for starting in race number 2 coming up looks like this. We're both starting with 4 horses. I'm going to go with 3 in race 3. Charles is going to go with 4. We're both going 4 horses in race number 4. And then Charles is going with 3 in race number 5. I'm going to go with 4 in race number 5. Our box it ups in race number 3 for me. Charles is in race number 6. $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. And then again, here are our full picture. Last race, 14 being your long shot, Charles. I think I covered everything in there. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you did. I think you got everything in there.
Fantastic. So I know earlier today, when we first posted it, that our picks for the day ever at Guaranteed Tip Sheet was supposed to be Delaware Park, but they canceled today. But we still have a full roster of every other race today at Churchill, at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. So please make sure you head over there. You can see all the picks that are available. There is a link in the description below. So please go down there and get your picks. Use the link in the description below. And then tonight at on the Player's Edge, not the Player's Edge podcast, the Horse Center with Sean and I, which starts at 8 p.m. We're going to have on newly unretired jockey Jeremy Rose at 8 p.m. Always a very good conversation with Mr. Rose. You won't want to miss that. That starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. In order to make sure you don't miss it, please subscribe while you're here on YouTube. Hit the like button on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. All of it, Horse Race, the number 2, and then day. I think that wraps everything else up. Any words of wisdom before we get up and out of here today, Charles?
Oh no, not today. I think the weather's going to be good here today all day at Kentucky, and I got to check out for tomorrow. We are doing Belmont
Hmm.
at Aqueduct, right? It's
Hmm.
only it's just Aqueduct. We're doing
Hmm.
Aqueduct, so I don't know what the weather's going to be there like yet.
Well, hopefully it's nice. So, as we like to do, three things to do before this day ends up today. One, I'm going to say sharpen your saw. Whatever it is your career is, which where you're trying to advance, read a book today, read a scholarly article on your position, anything that you're trying to improve on. If you're trying to lose weight, whatever it is, go out there and sharpen your saw. Find some information that helps you achieve that goal. And then the second thing of the day is I'm going to say go out today out of your way to try to make somebody laugh today. Laughter is what they say, the best cure, right? So if you can
Yep.
make somebody laugh today, that'll be your good deed for the day. We've done our good deed, we hope, today for point number 3. We hope that if you're at work, you're at the track, you're just hanging out, no matter what it is that you're doing today, we want it to end up in one place. And that place, Charles, can only be
The winner's circle.
absolutely. Thank you for joining us tonight. Charles and I, tonight, Sean and I will be back at 8 o'clock with Jeremy Rose. Tomorrow, you and I will be back to cover Belmont at the Big A. Tomorrow nights, the Players Edge podcast, TVG or FanDuel's Rich Perloff for the Pennsylvania Derby. What an incredible card that they have out there in Pennsylvania for Saturday. You're not going to want to miss that. Thomas and I on Friday for Foreign Fridays are going to do Newmarket because they have some Breeder Cup winning your in races. So action-packed. I know Eddie C and Chris P for their spot play show. It's going to be Belmont at Aqueduct for Saturday. So make sure you tune in for anything and everything. Don't miss it by making sure you subscribe and have a fantastic hump day.
All right, see ya.